Cooper, how's it going? My name is John. I'll be moderating today's session. Thanks for joining us, and congratulations on making it to the Super Bowl this week.
Thank you.
All right, let's get started. This first question will come from Nick Wagner.
Hey, Cooper, congratulations on the run here. Just in 2017, when you and Robert got there, the Rams had been in a bit of a drought in terms of receiver production, and obviously that's a franchise that has a long history of great receiver production. How much has guys like Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt helped you or maybe had relationship with you throughout this time? And also, what does it mean to you to kind of get that standard back to where it was?
Yeah, those guys have obviously, the Rams' history of wide receivers, it goes back even, back 50, 60, 70 years really, and the guys that have come through this organization. So, having guys like Torrey and Isaac around, both those guys are very involved still at the LA Rams, and being able to, have them come in here and talk to us and be able to pick their brains on certain things, and their willingness to also share about a lot of stuff that they've seen, a lot of the experiences they have in this league. Being able to then kind of transition over these last 5 years and be able to do some good things on the football field at the receiver position, and be proud of the product we're putting on the field. It feels good. I think I grew up with my high school coach talked a lot about having respect for the guys that have come before you, having respect for the position, and the standard that's been set because of the guys that have come before you. So have a lot of respect for those guys and what they were able to accomplish, and glad that we're able to, put a good product on the field, respecting those guys.
Thanks, Cooper.
Yeah.
This next question will come from Flo Hauser of DAZN, Germany.
Hi, Cooper. This is Flo Hauser from DAZN, Germany. Congratulations making it to the Super Bowl.
Thank you.
I actually got two questions. We all know that you were working so hard the last year. Now you got your own football field at home, studying everything. How affected the unfortunate miss at Super Bowl 53, your game this season, the importance of you now playing your first Super Bowl, and how would you describe your personal strength? Because you were pretty versatile this year, catching from all positions a wide receiver can do.
Yeah, well, not being able to play in that first Super Bowl back in 2019 offered a pretty cool perspective for me. It's obviously a very difficult situation, but kind of it gave me an opportunity to be offered a perspective of the importance of enjoying the process of what this NFL season is. I've really been able to this year take the approach that every single day I come in here, being able to play alongside the guys I get to play alongside, the coaches that come in here, just being able to enjoy every moment with those guys and enjoying the journey every step of the way. I think that's the important thing. Being in this position to be able to play for a world championship is an incredible thing, and don't take that lightly and by any means. But it did offer me that perspective of, all these guys are getting ready to play in this football game, but even when I wasn't playing in that thing, I could look back even on my year and be like, the most important things from that year to me were just the people I got to spend that time around, and, the enjoyment of the process and coming in and, spending 12, 13, 14 hours a day, whatever it is, just preparing alongside these guys to play a football game. That's the stuff that I really enjoyed, and I really got the opportunity, not playing that game, to be offered that perspective. And then, talking about the off season and some of the things we're able to do this off season, being able to get a little bit of a field put together up at our place, just allowed me to be able to get the work I need to get done, but also prioritizing my time with my family, not having to drive and find fields and go do things like that. I was able to do all my work at home, and I feel, football season is long, but I feel great this year. It's been a lot of fun, and the body's held up well. So very thankful for the guys I worked with this off season, and putting me in the position to be able to go and do the things I did this year.
Thank you. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Introducing this next question is Trent Dilfer with Panini.
Cooper, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I'm with Panini, and our Panini Super Bowl kid reporter, Gavin asks, Little Tyke is about to ask you the best question you'll get all day.
Let's go.
Hi, Cooper. Congratulations on making it to the Super Bowl.
Thank you, man.
My question is, what drives you to be the best you can possibly be in life?
I think that really comes down to my faith. I believe that God made me with a purpose, that He gave me the passions and the talents to pursue a specific thing. I found out I feel like I found that at a young age. That I realized that football was something that I just felt like when I was playing football, he was well pleased with what I was doing. That was just what I was supposed to be doing. I just felt like I just had a supernatural calling. Like, this is what I want to pursue, and I was able to go all in on that. And then the great thing was, because I knew that this is something that God had given to me to pursue, that that is my drive wasn't to achieve anything for myself in any regard. There weren't like goals or anything that I wanted to achieve or any honors, anything that I was striving for. It was really about each day being able to wake up and say, I want to be the best that I can possibly be, for no other reason than that God has put me here, and I want to honor that and respect that to the best of my ability. So now I get to come into work with the greatest purpose, with the greatest drive, with the greatest goals in mind, because that is the perspective I get to take. So that's really what drives me in everything that I do, whether it's being the best football player I can be, being the best man I can be, being the best son, the best husband, the best father, all that stuff. And so that's kind of the perspective that I take and what drives me when I wake up in the morning.
I have the same faith. Thank you for answering my question. Good luck at the Super Bowl.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man.
All right, next question is coming from Susie Colbert at ESPN.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
There you go. So regarding the Bengals defense and their ability to mix and match and morph, can you take us inside of just your level of prep for this week and maybe some of the biggest differences or challenges for you, different from maybe what you've faced so far this season?
Yeah, we'll try to keep things as normal as you possibly can. There's obviously some things that come along with playing the Super Bowl that you don't have control over, but trying to keep that same rhythm routine, being able to prepare in terms of watching games and watching DBs, the linebackers, the fronts, how everything works together, and kind of what the Bengals have been able to present over the course of the season. Keep all that stuff as normal as possible. I talk about it all the time. I'm not going to prepare more for any specific game. I don't get more motivated for any other game. I try to bring the same juice every single time and never leave it to question, why I wouldn't bring more juice for one game than another. So try to keep that stuff all as as consistent as I possibly can. And you talked about the Bengals and just being able to morph and do some different things. It's a very good defense, and they're playing the Super Bowl for a reason. So they present a lot of great challenges for us, and just looking forward to being able to go out there and compete with those guys.
Great, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Up next is Joe Reedy from Associated Press.
Hey, Cooper, you're former running backs coach at Eastern Washington, who's now USC. Kai McDonald described you even at Eastern Washington as one of the smartest players that he ever met, and the way he could break down a defense even at Eastern Washington was amazing. Just growing up and going through high school, when did you start picking up on that, learning things, and were there different offensive systems or coaches that you kind of learned from?
Yeah, well, Coach Mack is great. I'm so proud of him and the things that he's been able to do. So really glad that he's over there at USC. That's a really cool thing. But yeah, I think to answer your question, I've always been someone that loves to learn. No matter what it is, I love to be a learner. I try to take an attitude I try to be as open-minded as I possibly can, and discussions. I just want to hear all different angles of what's going on. I want to be able to dive into a lot of different things, whatever it is, it's history, if it's football, if it's whatever it is. I just love to be a learner, and because I have such a passion for football, I think early on, trying to understand every little piece of this game, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. I remember in high school feeling like I think I've got a pretty good grasp on things here. Getting to college and understanding that you didn't know anything, and so that's just been one of those things that's just been continuous growth, and I've definitely studied offenses, defense, try to get a grasp on all these different things. I feel like as you transition to each of these stages, I mean, certain things are presented to you in college that you might not see in the NFL, and once you get to the NFL, there's certain things that you see that you haven't seen in your entire life. So, once I got to the NFL, it was going through the draft process, studying all the different offenses that are present. You got the Erhard Perkins, the Eric Coryell, the West Coast, and how all those things have kind of mixed and matched together, and all the different trees of coaches that have come together to blend these things together to make the offenses that you're seeing today. And trying to get a feel for a lot of that stuff was a lot of fun. I've enjoyed all of that, being able to study the offensive side of things, and then even the defenses, how they've morphed and changed, and learning about the the Tampa 2. Things start off playing cover 2, you start running seams against it. Down there in Tampa, they start having this Mike run through to take away some of those seam runners, and now the offense has to adjust and find ways to attack Tampa 2. And just like a give and take, it's a beautiful thing, this game, that just continuing to evolve and grow, and you see old stuff come up and be good, and then offenses find ways to attack it. So it's just been it's just a great game that I have so much respect for, so much love for, and it lends itself to learners. If you can be a learner in this league, I think you can it helps you stay ahead of the curve a little bit. So that's kind of just what's allowed me to pursue the game the way that I have.
And just following up, you've had many clutch third down catches this season. Does the Tampa one stand out, or is there any other that you like the most?
For third down specifically?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that one, that one's a big one. Obviously, you be able to go down there and give your team an opportunity to win the game. That's a pretty sweet thing. So take a lot of pride in being able to convert on third down, being able to get into positions where we can be third and manageable and get some plays up that we like. So I don't really have one. I guess just because you brought that one up, I'll say that one.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
All right, next question is from Zach Cox with Nesson.
Hey, Cooper. Thanks for doing this. I'm curious about your memories of your time playing with Kendrick Bourne back in college. Just wondering what you remember about your time together at Eastern Washington, and what it was like playing in an offense that had that much talent at the FCS level.
Yeah, well, I remember watching Kendrick's film after my first year, and watching, our receiver coach say, we got this guy coming in, we think we really like him. Check his film out, so I watched him, and I was blown away at just how great of a route runner he was, how strong he was after the catch. Had the twitch. He has so many things about his game that I think are very impressive. He continued to grow too. I mean, he came in. He ended up truing as a freshman, and just continued to get better and better year after year. And the little inside scoop, I guess, on Kendrick is, before our last year together, I actually sat down with him and I told him straight up. I said, "You are a better receiver than I am." And if he was able to get kind of some things in order, he was going to just take off. And I think he really did just that. And you've seen kind of his career arc just kind of moving into the NFL and getting better year after year after year. The things that he's doing, I just, in my conversations with him, just the mentality that he has now, you can just hear it in the way that he talks about this game. He's locked in on things, and he's going to be a really good receiver in this league for a long time because, that mentality just can carry him over, and he's got so much room still to improve, and, he's just going to eat up that space. So it was just so much fun playing with him. We had so many good receivers on that team, so many good football players. It was a really fun time for me.
Have you guys kept in touch since you've been on your kind of respective NFL journeys? I've seen him give you some shout outs on social media and everything like that.
Yeah, we keep in touch for sure. Kendrick's my guy. He's his personality, the guy that he is, the joy that he plays this game with. It's infectious. He made things so much fun for us. So I'll always keep in touch with KB and the things that he's doing. So I'm always pulling for him.
Awesome. Thanks, Cooper.
Yeah.
Up next is Miles Simmons from Pro Football Talk.
How's it going, Coop?
That's good.
Good to talk to you, man. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
So with Odell, I mean, he didn't get to you guys until mid-season. Just how was he able to get up to speed so quickly, and why has it worked out so well?
Well, one, obviously when you had Odell come in, the plan wasn't for him to have to learn this thing as quickly as he did. You have, an awful situation where, Robert Woods goes down, and you're really in a spot where Odell's now in a very expedited, process of trying to get him, integrated into what we need to do, and trying to learn this offense in the season without really being able to have as many reps as you do. You go through training camp, you go through OTAs, and all that. You have all this time, all these opportunities to get reps, and he didn't get to have any of that. So he had to do a lot of this stuff mentally just on his own, learning, our play calls, our formations, all this different stuff, all the nuance and detail that it takes to be good in this offense. And he's just done an unbelievable job of that. For him to do what he's doing, for him to be producing the way he has been, speaks volumes to the player that he is, the teammate that he is, the football intelligence that he has to be able to learn this stuff and be able to go out and execute it. So it's just been so impressive watching him work. And I think he's just kind of better and better each week, kind of getting more and more into the groove of things and understanding this offense. So, I've just got a lot of respect for him and the football player he is. And that's not just what he does on the football field, but also how he handles himself off of it.
To quickly follow up, I mean, you mentioned Robert and, the awful injury that happens there. I think we all saw that clip of you guys, embracing after the NFC Championship game. Just what has he kind of meant to this room, even through the injury, throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, well, the kind of player that he is, the intensity, the mindset that he brings and that he sets the standard for. I mean, he calls everyone up to such a high standard of football play, and the selflessness that he embodies. And then for him to just continue, I mean, as he's, gone through this rehab, being up and just being able to share kind of the things that he's seeing from his perspective on, when he's watching the game and what he's seeing from guys, as he's watching practice or whatever it is, that just speaks volumes about the kind of person that he is and how much he cares about the guys in this room. He continues to just set that standard for us. And, obviously it was a huge loss not being able to have him out there. I miss him. I text him all the time, wish I had you out there in the huddle with us still. But, it's one of those things. He's taking that great mentality now going through this rehab, working hard, doing everything he can to get back. So, he's just been he's been incredible through this thing.
Appreciate it, Kupp. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
This next question comes from Jim Allen, the spokesman.
Hello, Cooper. How are you?
Hey, Jim. I'm good.
Been a while.
It has.
Well, I had the privilege last week of going to Yakima, visiting with your grandparents and Jay Dumas, and they all say hi. And they all say that they don't think Los Angeles could possibly change you, and I'm pretty sure that's right. But could you talk a little bit about what life has been like for you in Los Angeles in a general sense, and also talk about maybe some of the charitable work that you've done and just what family life is like? Kind of a broad question, I guess.
Yeah, well, we've loved it here. It's been great. Obviously, it was quite a bit of a transition from Cheney coming down here to LA, but we've absolutely loved it being down here. The people down here that we've met, the friendships that we have, and that's really what it is in my opinion. I mean, no matter where you are, it's the people, it's the relationships, and the people that you surround yourself with that make it great. So that's just been an incredible blessing to us, and for me and my family, for my boys. Not to say we've had so many relationships still, and people we keep in contact with up in Cheney and Yakima, the Tri-States, all these different places. But the thing that's consistent following all those places is just the people that we've been able to meet there. So that's just made it a great transition for us. And what was the last part of that question?
Oh, I wanted to ask about some of the charitable
stuff. Yeah,
work that you've been doing, you and Anna.
Yeah, well, I think we're in a place that we get to try to highlight. I mean, we obviously have things that we want to give to, that we want to be a part of, that we want to, causes that we believe are doing some good in this world, and whether it's with veterans, whether it's with trafficking, whatever it is. There's a lot of things that are going on in this world, a lot of people doing some really good stuff, and just trying to highlight the good that's happening in this world where you see so much negativity, so many things that I just think just aren't right. Trying to do the best we can to bring attention to the people that are doing good, and even if it isn't something where monetarily there's things that people do, but just highlighting organizations. So if it is just time or just the even sometimes it's just knowing that this is going on and that people are working for the good of this world. I think that that goes a long way. So some of those things we just want to be able to highlight and allow people to see some of the good that's happening.
All right, this next question comes from Dylan Schefter at NFL Slime Time.
Hey, Cooper. Okay, hi. So, I have a question. So, for every kid that plays football, the Super Bowl is literally their dream. So, how far back can you remember thinking about playing in the Super Bowl, and what did your dream look like back then?
That's a great question. I remember the Super Bowl for us, in the Kupp family, the Super Bowl was basically another holiday. I remember we used to always have the Super Bowl parties. My dad would make his big old plate of nachos or whatever. It seemed like regardless of what the game, who was playing or whatever it was, and we just had such a good time. So many great memories wrapped up in watching the Super Bowl. It is the pinnacle of this sport. It's competing for a world championship. I guess as a kid, just being able to enjoy that moment, I think that's the biggest thing for me is I wasn't dreaming about anything specifically about competing in the Super Bowl. It's just being able to be in this place and enjoying it, and every memory I have of thinking forward to this opportunity, none of those were filled with any kind of anxiety or anything like that. Those dreams are always filled with the joy of the moment, I think I'm in a place now where I'm going to enjoy this thing. I'm going to enjoy every second of playing this game, and I think that's kind of something that I've taken from looking back at kind of the dreams and the moments that I've had, thinking about these moments that we get to now kind of step into.
Yeah, thank you so much, and congrats again.
Thank you very much.
All right, this next question comes from Jordan Rodriguez, the Athletic.
Hey, Cooper, how you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, wondering, as you've gotten to know Sean over the last several years and worked with him particularly closely, I think this year, and sort of onboarding Matthew and getting this offense maybe evolving a little bit, what have you learned about him specifically as a problem solver, and how he talks through or I guess absorbs things when people are in disagreement?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Sean's one of the smartest people I've ever met when it comes to football schematics and, being able to attack defenses and all these different things that, we try to do as an offense. He also surrounds himself with people that are similar-minded, but not so much in that they're the same as him, but that they want to find solutions. They're solution-oriented people, and his willingness, I think, when there are problems, there are issues, and there's things coming up when you're game planning, and you're trying to figure out how to attack certain things, the collaboration is so important. And we talk about here in this building all the time, the importance of being able to collaborate together and come to a place where you feel good moving forward as a team on whatever it is that you decide is best. And I think the greatest thing that we do here is it's not about being individually right or wrong. It's about finding what's right for the team. And regardless of whether it's your idea or not, whoever's idea it was, we're all going to buy into that idea and make it happen to the best of our ability. We're going to be bought into this thing and make that, whatever that solution was, we're going to make that come to life. And he just does an incredible job, I think, of bringing people along, stepping into that, and allowing that collaboration to happen. And I talked earlier about being a learner. He's a learner. He wants to continue to learn. He says all the time he doesn't have all the answers. He's not going to stand up in front of us and pretend that he has all the answers. Allowing us to be able to have that communication, having those conversations, I think that's a huge thing for us.
Thanks, Cooper.
All right, this next one's from Frank Schwab at Yahoo Sports.
Hey, Cooper, just wanted to go back to when you tore your ACL. And first of all, how grateful are you to be back in the Super Bowl after missing it the first time? Two, did you worry that you wouldn't be the same? Did you worry that you'd be able to bounce back to this level especially? And the third thing I wanted to ask, I know Miles asked about Robert Woods before, but how much closer has it made you? Because I'm sure you've shared with him some experiences. He's going through the same thing now with his ACL in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so missing that Super Bowl, I mean that's one of the hardest things I've been through. The conflict it creates in you when you are both cheering and pulling for your guys, the guys that you come in here that I've touched on. I mean, I just have so much respect and love for the guys that I get to play this game with, and you want them to succeed. And being in the space where you're pulling for them, but you know that every step of the way, every time they do succeed, it just hurts you that much more because you want to be a part of it as well. And so there's just that conflict within you that's both equally wanting them to succeed and do it, but also wanting to be there and knowing that you can't be a part of it like you want to at least. That's a very difficult thing to go through. And but like I said, I love that I'm very thankful for the opportunity to get this perspective, that perspective of the importance of grasping onto your guys, grasping onto the people that have made it so important and enjoying every moment with those guys. So now being in this place, I think I carry that perspective with me of enjoying this process, enjoying the moments, enjoying each day I get to come in here and prepare for this game. And then, talking about the recovery from the ACL, I guess, I don't think you can go into it with I didn't go into that, looking too far ahead. I think it's a difficult thing looking too far ahead when you're going through really like the first steps are just getting your knee to bend again. You're just like, okay, can we walk? Can we jog? Can we run? And then you're not even to the football stuff yet. So it's really taking those small incremental steps. And but at no point was there any doubt in my mind that I was going to come back and be better than I was before, because I felt like I had been given an opportunity now to rebuild myself exactly how I wanted to. I could teach myself to run the way that I wanted to run. I could run routes the way I wanted to run routes. I could cut the way that I wanted to cut, eliminate any bad habits and be able to move into a place where, all that stuff is as efficient and dialed in as I can possibly make it, filming every opportunity I can to kind of see that I'm grooving these good habits, from the ground up. So, I took that as an opportunity to kind of make myself better and feel good coming back from that. And, I know we're transitioning to Robert. I mean, I know he's going to take that same mentality. He has a great team around him. The guys that we have here in the training staff are world class and are going to do a great job. And the mentality that he's bringing in every single day, the work that he's putting in, is just going to allow him to get better and better and better. And, it's obviously a terrible thing that has happened, but this will be turned around for good. So, we've been able to talk a little bit kind of about the difficulties that you have to go through, just the mental, I guess, gymnastics of dealing with an injury like this during the season. So I'm also glad that I was able to go through this and can kind of share in that with Rob.
Thanks very much.
All right, up next is Ben Spiegel from the New York Times.
Hi, Cooper. I was wondering how, as someone who disguises his routes so well, how you do that and how you approach doing that.
Yeah, well, I can't tell you all my secrets. It would be untimely of me to kind of say too much about that. But, I think there's something about, trying to make everything look like one thing. You're taught from the very first time you learn to run routes, everything's supposed to look like a go ball, and then everything comes off of that. So I think that's kind of where the root of where this whole thing comes from, trying to make everything look like the same thing and then be able to build off of that. And there's obviously nuance to, leverages to, understanding where guys' help is. There's times you might want to move a guy's hips opposite. There's other times you might, want him to kind of, early on think that he's got you covered on things. So, all that stuff is just, there's a lot of different, nuance that goes into that. But I think it really comes back to that, learning is, being a learner and learning about this game. Part of it is also learning when the timing is right for a lot of the stuff that you want to do. But it just come back to the fundamental, the basics. The first time running routes when you're out there on the Pop Warner fields is everything's going to look like a go, and then all your routes come off of that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Up next is Patrick Crowley from Sky Sports.
Hi, Hi, Cooper. I was wondering if I could get your thoughts on what it's like playing on such a superstar-heavy team, and then specifically your relationship with Stafford and OBJ.
Yeah, well, I think it makes it a lot of fun when you've got guys that have come in here that have a lot of experience and success at other places, and what they bring in terms of that knowledge and what they've learned from all those different things that they've been through. So trying to take a stance of learning, a stance that we have an opportunity in practice when we're competing against each other to have those conversations and challenge each other. We have a Mamba period every Thursday where it's first defense against first offense and being able to compete against those guys. So that's just such an incredible opportunity for us, and it's such a great advantage for us to be able to go against. For a receiver, I get to line up against Jalen Ramsey and compete against Jalen Ramsey every single week. That is a huge advantage for me. I'm so thankful that the coach allows us to be in those positions to compete against each other, sharpen each other, and then be able to have the conversations after the fact on what they might have thought about some of the things that we saw when we were out there competing, all the stuff that that a lot of things outside of this building, a lot of people outside of this building talk about not being able to have guys that have had success elsewhere come in and integrate into whatever culture it is that we're building here. But because of what we've done here and what Sean has done and what the coaches have allowed us to step into, what they've encouraged, what they've I think grown in each of the guys that have played here for a few years. The standard that's been set for how we handle our business. You come in, you're going to be yourself. We don't ask anyone to be anyone other than themselves, but you're going to do your job. You're going to do your job to the best of your ability, and you're going to prepare to do your job to the best of your ability and respect the guys that are coming on that field and playing alongside of you. Having respect for them and making sure you're carrying your share of the weight to be able to execute so that your defense, your offense, your special teams, whatever it is, can be successful.
All right, up next is Steve Serby.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
How you doing? What are your emotions now that your parents, who did not go to the Super Bowl 53, will be at the game this Sunday? And were you on the sidelines during that Super Bowl 53?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, you were? Okay. And what are your emotions that now they get to watch you in the biggest game of your life, whereas 3 years ago they didn't?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, my parents have just been amazing in terms of their support for me throughout my entire life, coming to games, allowing me to go through, even just thinking back on my parents allowed me to go through high school. I didn't have to work a summer job. They, were able to, they said, look, we'll take care of that. We just want you to, get ready to pursue whatever it is that you want to pursue. So I had that time that I was allowed to just, whatever it was I loved. I loved football. I was able to go all in and just go to the camps I wanted to go to. I was able to go work out when I wanted to. I was able to go to the field when I wanted to. So I'm just so thankful for them for allowing me to pursue what I was passionate about. It was a huge blessing for me. And now, being able to be in this place where they were able to come and watch me be able to play in the Super Bowl, it's a great feeling. I'm very thankful for them. And now, I think, my dad just probably he never eats on game day or anything like that. So I told him, this is just another game. Don't get too worked up or anything like that. But, it's going to be really cool.
All right, Cooper. The next question comes from Stacey Dale, NFL Network.
Hey, Cooper, thank you so much. Congratulations. Two quick ones, if that's okay. A lot of the receivers I talk to that are elite in the NFL speak on visualization. How does the art or practice of visualization work into your expertise at the position?
Yeah, that's a great question. My grandpa actually, from an early age, he taught us. He's huge on visualization. He played in the league for quite a while, and he used to lay back on his pillow at night and just being able to visualize plays over and over and over again, him doing his job and doing it well over and over again. And it's interesting because I think it can kind of be a difficult thing to do. I think, in terms of, at least I'm talking about myself here, when I visualize, when I'm able to think back and just try to visualize myself going through plays, I think a lot of times your brain tries to show all the different things that can go wrong, as well as you try to go through this thing and visualize plays, visualize yourself making these plays. But it's so important. I think it allows you to have the reps to be able to anticipate things as you see them, be able to work through problems that might come up, before you see them in a game and it's go time. So the visualization, I think, is a huge part of my game, a huge part of a lot of the guys that play in this league, and allowing yourself to just be a step ahead and be able to see some things before they happen.
Amazing. And very quickly, thanks for your time. Kevin O'Connell said a couple days ago that we would be shocked to know the amount of time you've literally spent with your quarterback. Can you think of an example or a situation where you had an eye-opening moment with Matthew as you've developed this and evolved this relationship?
Yeah, well, I don't know. There's definitely some specific. There's been plenty of times, I guess, where I can't talk about them. I can't talk about them specifically, but there's been plenty of times where we're kind of working through things, talking through an idea, talking through something that we're seeing in terms of what the coaches have presented, and feel like there's a little nuance to this thing that we can say, hey, if we get this look, this is how we want to do it, and being on the same page with that throughout the year, multiple times throughout this year have actually come to life in games, and have been huge plays for us. So it's being able to spend that time together, being able to go through the film together, being able to see things as a receiver from the quarterback perspective, which is why I love watching film with quarterbacks, because as a receiver, the better I can be on the same page with them, the better that I can be where they need me to be, the better it's going to be for us as a team. So I just kind of take that approach, and then as these things kind of come up, we're able to give ourselves a wider range of successful outcomes, I guess. You count on Sean does a great job putting us in great positions all the time, but for the few times that it's not the perfect play, for us to be able to find ways to be able to make it come to life, and give that, like I said, a wide range of successful outcomes, no matter what we're going to see, it kind of allows us to live in that world.
I'm sorry, very quickly. Do you sit in the quarterback's room with those guys?
Oh yeah, no, and that's where we watch our films in the morning. Our film in the mornings. That's where we kind of do all of our stuff. I meet with the receivers, but anytime I can, hop in with the quarterbacks as they're finishing up stuff. I spend time with them in there, kind of hear those conversations and things like that.
Awesome, thanks.
Up next is Emmanuel Morgan from the New York Times.
Hey, Cooper. So when you look back to when you first got in the league and when you were in college, what one or two skill sets do you think you developed mostly that kind of helped you get better at getting open?
Yeah, well, I think quickness is kind of a piece of football that isn't talked about enough. Speed is a luxury in my mind. Speed is a luxury. Quickness is a necessity. If you can't separate and create separation at the top of routes, and be able to have enough twitch to be able to move people at the line of scrimmage and things like that, I think you have a hard time separating in this league. And there's certainly guys that can get by without it. Guys that have are longer, have great catch radius, are able to make contested catches consistently. There's certainly ways around that. But quickness is something that I've tried to develop, and as early as I can remember. It was always a point in the off seasons of kind of developing the quickness, and then also being able to maintain it based on all the different cuts that you do. And so that's kind of something that for me I think is a big advantage.
For sure. And then a quick follow up: how did Nick Edwards kind of help you when you were in college, and how close are you with him now?
Yeah, so when I came in, when I got to Eastern Washington, he was just going into his senior year, and really because of the things that he had done throughout his 5 years there, it actually allowed me to redshirt that first year, because we had 3 All-Americans there. Nick Edwards, Greg Hurd, and Brandon Kaufman were 3 All-Americans there. They also, the 4th was Ashton Clark, who's a great friend of mine, who's a really good receiver as well. So those 4 guys, really, the things that they had put on film and the players that they were, gave me an opportunity then to redshirt and continue to learn, continue to grow as a football player. So then Nick, ends up transitioning after 2 years to becoming my receiver coach. So we were able to grow together kind of through that whole process as well. And he's meant a ton to me. He's, as a coach, challenging me pushing me, kind of instilling me the attitude where he is a learner as well, and he wants to, be able to be the best coach that he can be in this league. He wants to give his guys as many tools as possible, and being able to have a coach like that was a great blessing for me. Yeah, we still stay in touch. We talk all the time.
All right, up next is Kurt Sandoval, KABC.
Hey, Cooper, it's such a commitment to get to this level. When you look at some of your teammates, whether it's Andrew Whitworth, Robert Woods, Aaron Donald, and their commitment, if you were talking to a 16 to a high school student or a college student, what would you tell them that separates God-given talent, commitment? What piece of wisdom would you offer a young adult?
That's a great question. I think pushing through when times get difficult. Perseverance is an incredible trait to have as an athlete, as a human being. Let's just talk as a human being in general. Perseverance is, if you have perseverance, you're gonna be able to push through a lot of things into some really great areas. There's a lot of difficult things that you go through in life as a football player, certainly, but in life in general, there's a lot of things that get thrown at you, and being able to persevere, being Les Snead calls it anti-fragile. Being in a place where you can push through difficult times, that you can find it within yourself to overcome adversity and be able to respond to adversity, and not allow adversity to cause a response that would either be running away or avoiding that thing, but being able to push through it and respond positively, allowing yourself grace to learn from failure, I think is another thing where failure doesn't mean it's over. Failure is just an opportunity to learn, to move forward, to adjust your plan and go at it again. I'd say perseverance. Having perseverance in this world is, I think it'll get you a long ways.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we have about 4 minutes remaining. Appreciate everybody's patience. This one will go to Jason Romano at Sports Spectrum.
Yeah, hey Cooper, this is so great that you're here doing this, and we follow you on Instagram. You post 1 Corinthians 9:24 through 27, which talks about running the race and getting that prize. It's been quite the race that you've run this year. When you think back to the beginning of this year and where you are now, what do you think is the great lesson that God has taught you and shown you when you look at this year?
Man, that's a wonderful question. I think the thing that he has taught me is that you will find that you are most fulfilled. You will find the most joy when you are rooted in your purpose. Specifically rooted in His purpose for you. And that to me has been one of the best things about this year. Beyond all the games that we won, beyond all the honors, accolades, whatever it is, I've had so much fun being able to play this game. And my motivation, I touched on earlier, my motivation coming in to every single day is to run the race in such a way as to honor God and the passions and the talents that He has given me. And when I'm rooted in that, I am in a great place. I am able to play freely. I'm able to love my teammates. I'm able to be a better man, a better football player, a better husband, a better father when I'm living in that place. And I truly believe beyond all that stuff, we had not won a game this year, but I had spent that time and was living in that place still of living freely. I believe this would still be my favorite year I've ever been a part of playing this game of football, because I've been living in that place. I've been enjoying every second of being a teammate to the guys that are here, and just being able to honor God every time I step in this facility. So I think that's the big lesson for me.
All right, up next is Brenna Green from KREM.
Hi, Cooper. Probably, I think at this point, I think it's safe to say that you're the most well-known person to come out of Eastern Washington University. maybe ever. How does this just feel to, you know, kind of help put that football program on the map, especially since there was a lot of talk last year of it potentially, you know, going away? So just, I guess, just how much pride do you feel in being able to do that?
Yeah, well, I just thought, you know, there's been so many guys that have come through Eastern Washington that I've got so much respect for. So many guys that have done things the right way. You know, and they might not have been talked about. It might not be super well known across the country, maybe not across the state. But the legacies that a lot of guys have left in that program that have trickled down through that locker room, through that university, and the people that are remembered on that campus. You know, that goes a long ways. You can see, in my opinion, the identity of that university, of Eastern Washington University, was developed and grown from the football program, the people that have come through that program. So, you know, having to have gone through what they went through, where you are being attacked and, you know, you have a group of people trying to pull your program from you, I just thought was so disrespectful to the guys that have come through the league, that have invested so much into, invested time and invested time in the people of that community and that university. Is just such a, you know, it's a heartbreaking thing to see. But you know, I'm glad that they were able to come out the other side of that, because there's so many good people there in Cheney, so many good people at that university that deserve a group of people that are pushing this program forward, pushing that university forward. And I have a ton of pride as an Eastern Washington Eagle, and super thankful for the opportunities they gave me and for the people that are there in Cheney. So it was a tough thing to see.
All right. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but Cooper, thank you very much for the time today, and thanks everybody for joining.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, guys.